grab a snack, and find a cozy chair, because it's time for Don't Make Me Use My Mom Voice, where we talk about all things mom life.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's Father's Day while we're recording, right?
It is Father's Day today while we were recording, yes.
Yeah.
So well, I guess it'll be a week later. So happy week later Father's Day to any dads.
Yeah, well, we could say, hope you had a great Father's Day.
Yes, I got Kevin a grass trimmer and he is already using it. So he's
Nice.
very excited. But like I said, we were going to get one anyway because he needed a new one. I just went out and bought one, but I didn't know what kind he would want. Because I don't do the outdoor yard work, so I didn't even know what kind he had before. I didn't even know if it was gas or a plug-in. So I had to ask Lucas if he knew what kind Kevin had, and he's like, "No, it's got a cord on it. I remember seeing a cord. Okay, I know that. So there's no battery, there's no gas. It's electric. It's corded." So then I went to the store to look for one, and there's like 10 different grass weed whackers or whatever. And there's varying prices. So there was one that was like $60 and it goes all the way up to like $400. I'm like, well,
Wow.
I don't have $400. So I'm sitting there in the aisle and I called my dad. Like, I have a lawn question. So I told him, like, there's these two. One is like on sale for 60, one's on sale for 100. They're kind of like, I think they were like the store brand kind of things. Like
Yeah.
one was the low end store brand and the other one was like the mid range store brand. So I asked my dad and he's like, well, the one that's $100, he's like, I've heard of that brand. I've heard it's reliable. Like, unless you can afford the $400 name brand one, I would go with one. So yeah.
Oh, did you get anything from your dad? Did you do anything for your dad?
Okay. I'm gonna save that story because that leads into my
Oh, okay.
shenanigans.
Okay. I want to hear that. Yeah.
So we will save that story.
Yeah. I've not done anything for Dave, but while I was chatting before this, you're talking about making pasta reminded me I could make him chapati, which is an East African flatbread that he really likes and goes really well with a stew. So I'm gonna make that after we get done with this. And oh, I forgot, I saw this Facebook ad and it made me laugh so hard. You could get your kids' pictures and then they would put them on like an air freshener for the car and it dangled. So it made me laugh so hard. So I ordered one and it's not gonna come by Father's Day, but when it comes, I'm just gonna put it in his car and wait for him to go in. And we have like Theo and Caleb's faces dangling in front of him.
That's cute. I like that.
Yeah, so this is the first time I've ever been swayed by a Facebook ad.
Oh, really? I get drawn in by them all the time. I've ordered many of things off of Instagram and Facebook.
Really? I've
Yes.
never. I will open like the fashion ads, but then I always go back shopping to like Ross and TJ Maxx.
No, I get suckered in by many ads.
Yeah. Well,
So they know how to market to me.
dangling kids' faces was one that was gonna get me for sure.
So anything else new with you? We haven't chatted in a while.
Oh yeah, this week was I don't even know why they're called graduation. Well, do they have 8th grade graduations there?
Yeah, we do 8th grade. There's usually like some schools will do kindergarten graduation, and then they do grade 8 and then high school. Some schools there's a few schools that I know of that go up to grade 6, and they go to like 7 and 8 school, like I guess a middle school or whatever. So they'll have some kind of grad, but most schools here go to grade 8. So
yeah, so so Caleb's going to high school, so we had his 8th. DC was calling it 8th grade promotion. I think my city is kind of like, we're not going to call it a graduation because you're not ready yet for the world. So they're calling it 8th grade promotion, which I really appreciated. So they didn't have a cap and gown or anything. They walked across the stage and got their certificate, but they all they had to do was wear black and white. They looked cool, so that was nice. But it wore me out the whole week preparing for all that because they also had the eighth grade dance and promotions. I mean awards. So it was like 3 days of having to go to the school for something else outside of like pick up and drop off.
Mhm.
And then the little one also had like his preschool graduation. Now they call it graduation, the preschoolers. and I was parenting solo because Dave was out of town, and Theo is so dependent on Dave, and so he was a little bit of a pest.
Mhm.
And that morning, I forgot completely that was his graduation morning, and he didn't want to put on his
Oh.
clothes, so we got into the car with him, just half dressed, his pajama shirt half on, his and his torn pants, and I had forgotten that they were supposed to dress up that day. So I
Yeah.
dropped him off to school. The teacher is looking cuter than usual. I'm like, okay, cool. Miss Mark dressed up today. That's nice. And I hand him over and I ran off. And
Mhm.
then a parent who knows Dave sends a photo of Theo graduating to Dave. And we're like, oh shit.
Oh no.
I felt terrible. I called the teacher. I'm like, can I come? And she's like, oh, we're already done, but it's okay. And I just drove home and I just lay on the couch and I'm like, I am such a bad parent. And I know it's like insignificant, but Theo feels all the feelings and he loves those things. I feel so
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Did he remember that it was his graduation?
like he knew when he was at school,
Oh, okay.
but the whole morning had been taken up in like a screaming match. Well, I didn't match
Right.
him in the screaming, but there was a standoff.
Right.
Yep. So that was my week.
Aw. But you know what? That's just parenting, right? Like sometimes I forget things all the time. Like I'll forget that it's pizza day. So the boys won't have pizza day. They'll have to bring just their regular lunch. They'll
Yeah.
have like my kids also don't tell me when these things are. Like,
Well, they don't.
There was an awards thing at the school the other day, and like, I don't think my kids were getting anything, but I'm like, why don't you tell me when these things happen?
They don't. They don't care.
No.
Yeah.
No, this is my busy week, actually. Like so Lucas has been doing his volunteer cat socializing at the Humane Society, which
Yeah.
I feel like I have been the cat socializer because he just kind of sits there. I like get on the floor and play with the cats, and I have to get them out of their cages and bring them in the room. And so I feel like I should be getting these volunteer hours. So he's got that on Monday. I'm supposed to be going to the movies on Tuesday because I want to go see The Little Mermaid. I want to go see that. And then Wednesday, I'm going to see Shania Twain
Oh,
with
wow.
my father. And Thursday, I'm going to the ballet. And then Friday, I'm going for dinner. So it's a very
You
busy
have
week.
a packed week, but like with cool stuff.
This is a very busy week, but also like Nick also made the baseball team at school. But because it's the end of the year, they're not playing like one game here, one game there. They're doing one day with a bunch of schools, and it's like a big tournament day. So that's on Thursday. So originally my plan was to stay at my dad's Wednesday night and then go into Toronto for the evening for ballet, like from my dad's. But now I'm going to come home early, go to this tournament day, watch him play baseball, and then go to the ballet.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Yeah, that sounds busy. I'm
it
worn
is.
out for you.
It's jam.
But you'll be having fun.
It will be fun. Yes. But hold on. What? Yes, just go on. Nick was there. He's telling me we also might go see the movie The Flash.
Oh, okay. Well, just in case you forget.
He's sitting there, and you might also go see it. Yes, yes.
Just making sure you haven't forgotten that. Yeah.
He's just making sure I get all the things in there.
And when are they done with school for the summer?
They are done the 29th, I think. So they have this week and then the week after. So they still have 2 weeks.
Yeah, they're done next Wednesday. Ugh. And then we have to be stuck with them the whole summer. I hate the summer for that.
Are they doing anything for the summer? Do you have them signed up for any camps or anything?
I have Caleb signed up for a writing class, and then I
Oh,
think
that's fun.
I'm also going to put him in camp counselor training.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I just saw that the YMCA has a class for 12 year that for like 12 to 16 year or whatever, some age bracket where he fits in, and I think that would be good training for him. Also training him to babysit Theo for us.
Yes.
Yes, and then Theo, I think we're just gonna put him in YMCA for the summer.
Okay.
Usually we have him around the corner with the daycare, but the kids are much younger now. He still
Mhm.
enjoys it, but we want him to be among kids who are his age or slightly bigger.
Right.
Yeah, but we're going for a week to Dave's parents in Connecticut, so we'll be leaving like end of June, the last week of June, and then part of the first week of July
Oh,
for the 4th of
nice.
July break. Yeah,
That'll be fun.
yeah,
Are you,
it'll be fun.
are you
They have a
excited
very
to go?
fun. It's your, I mean, it's in-laws.
Yeah.
It's hard. Yeah, it's they have a comfy bed, and when I sleep in that bed, I fall asleep real hard.
Okay.
And my mother-in-law doesn't like anyone helping in the kitchen or anything. She's not like an African mother-in-law who expects you to be in the kitchen before everybody else and cook breakfast. No, she doesn't want that. So I'm like, not doing anything, sleep in, get up, sleep in. So in that regard, that's nice. But then it's also still not my home, and I'm always tense.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you guys doing for the summer break?
For summer break, not a whole lot. Because I'm working, and this will be probably this will be the first summer that the boys will be home, like fully on their own. So there's that. And like Nick plays lacrosse. He's got games usually every Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then he has practice Mondays and Wednesdays. So because of that, like even sending them to my mother-in-law's for a couple of nights, because we would usually do like 2 nights overnight and then they would be there for a couple of days. Like that's not even worth it because we would have to go get them and then bring them out and then bring them back for practice and whatever. So they're just going to be home.
Yeah, they're an age where they can be home too, right?
They are, but they're also at an age where we are trying to figure out how much freedom do we give them when we're not home. Because like Lucas is going to be 13 in August, but Nick is still just 9. So how much outdoor freedom do we give them? Like we
Yeah.
don't want them roaming the neighborhood when we're not home, but we also don't want them sitting in the basement all day on their devices when we're not home.
That's a tricky one.
I know. And the thing is too, like, will they go out? Even if we do let them go outside, will they go outside? Like if there's nobody here monitoring them.
Yeah. Are there other kids in the neighborhood that they
Oh
get
yeah,
together?
Like 2 of their friends just live down the street, so they can go down the street and play or whatever. But it's just we definitely like we don't want them on bikes and we don't want them roaming around to the park or anything.
That's the thing is with kids, when you put them at that age, when you put them together in a group, it just takes one person's suggestion.
Yeah.
And all reason goes out the window. Even the one who wants to reason is like, I don't want to be the person who's like the party pooper. So let's go ride our bicycles. And even though we've been told not to.
Yeah. Yeah, like I want them to have a good summer. And like my friends and I were talking, like all the things that we're afraid to let our kids do now, we did as kids. Like my mom left my sister and I home alone, and I was Lucas's age, and we would walk down to the store and cross busy streets and go outside and play and walk to our friends' houses.
Let's just admit that our generation made it to adulthood purely miraculously because the things the things they would let us, I mean, the things our parents didn't know we're doing while they were away.
Yeah.
It's I was naughty and I ran around and I got like nasty wounds, and because I was not supposed to be out, I would not tell them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would nurse them myself. It's a miracle I didn't die from like tetanus or something. I mean, I was vaccinated, thank God, but sometimes they would notice when like I'm now limping and it's now like, oh, it's infected. What did you do? Where did you get that from? And I'm like, well, 5 days ago.
Well, that's just it. Like, and I know that I spent a lot of time inside during the summer too. Like, TV was my friend. I've always said that. Like, I watched a lot of TV. So I did spend a lot of time inside. But then I think around 14, 15, I started babysitting our neighbors' kids. So that was kind of my summer job. So I would babysit them. But with Lucas, like there's really no kids on the street. There's no little kids. So it's like, what do I have you do?
Yeah. Good
But
thing. They'll figure it out. If they watch TV for the summer, they'll be fine.
yeah, it'll be fine. It's just, yeah. But I just can't believe that they're that old now that we're starting to just leave them.
No, the big boys.
Oh, I got new tattoos this week.
Oh, what did you get?
So
Anne
I
Frank?
got, I don't know
Not
if
Anne
you,
Frank. Oh my God, I said Anne Frank. Not Anne Frank.
Lisa Frank.
Lisa
Lisa Frank.
Frank. We don't want you to get Anne Frank tattoos.
No, I got Lisa Frank.
Okay.
But no, I didn't get that. I don't know if you can see. I got this little hot dog guy.
Oh,
He
yeah.
says hiya, buddy. It's from The Office, the show The Office. And then I
Oh.
also got a quote from The Office that says, "Sorry, I annoyed you with my friendship."
Do
And then I
you
also
have
got
like do you have like the same person you go to?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then I also got a big one on the back of my leg. It's Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty.
You're just a moving movie, movie
I'm a,
billboard.
I'm a walking pop culture reference, is what I am.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because when I went to do the tattoo, I walked in and I went to like her little area in the building, and she was just sitting there, and then she spun around on her stool. I'm like, what is happening here? I'm like, when did this happen? She is pregnant. I'm like, all these times I've come in and said how horrible children are. You go and get pregnant. I'm
Oh
like,
wow.
who's gonna do my tattoos now?
Just for a
But
little bit when
yeah,
she's
like
in that kind of
she said she's gonna be off until November because she's basically self-employed, so she doesn't get mat leave. So she'll be off until
oh. Oh wow. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so that was my week.
So what is this story you're holding?
Okay. So like my sister and I did take our dad out, like my dad for Father's Day. We met up in Toronto. Because like my sister lives in Toronto and I was gonna go visit my mom anyway. So Maya texted me a few weeks or last week and whatever and was like, "What are your plans for Father's Day?" I'm like, "I don't know. I was gonna ask you the same thing." So I'm like, "Well, I was gonna come out and see mom on the Saturday. Why don't we all meet up for lunch or something? Like dad can come into Toronto, we can all meet up." She's like, "Okay, that sounds good." So we went for brunch and brunch was lovely. It was great. And then there's a section of Toronto, like a little neighborhood called Kensington Market. And it's very like, there's like lots of little restaurants and cafes. And it's always full of people. There's like a lot of vintage stores, used clothing stores. I got two really cute dresses, by the way. It's a really like eclectic area of Toronto. It's really nice. So we were walking around in there and we had gone into a few stores and we were heading back to like I was going to go home and my sister was going to go back and have another visit with my mom. And I went into my purse to look for my phone and my phone is gone.
Oh no.
And so obviously slight panic starts to sink in because I'm like, okay, what stores did we go to? So we had to basically like kind of go backwards and retrace our steps and go back to all the stores. And like at the same time, like I'm looking on the ground, like did it fall out? Because my purse was kind of open and it was jostling, but like I had it in front of me. So I don't think anybody put their hand in my purse because it was kind of at the front of me kind of thing. So I'm like looking on the ground for it. Of course, I don't see it because if the streets are filled with people, like it was a nice day and whatever. So it's super crowded. So we went back to all the stores. Nobody turned in a phone, no phones there. So I'm panicking even more because I'm like, oh my God, like, what if somebody did take my phone? Like, if somebody took a phone, that means like, I do have a screen lock on my phone, but that means they probably know how to unlock a screen so they can get into a phone, right? And like yes, I can kind of reset passwords, but the notes thing that's in my phone, it has all the passwords to like
Oh no.
everything
Yeah.
I've ever signed. So like all of my passwords are in there. And I'm like, what do I do? Like I have no phone. Like how am I Like, how do you survive? How do you live now without your phone? Like, your life is in your phone. Like, if you lost your
Everything is in
phone,
there.
what would you do if you lost your phone?
Right? Like,
Yeah,
everything's in there.
exactly. And like, I don't have an iPhone. So I know with an iPhone, everything kind of backs up to the cloud or whatever. So I have just an Android phone. So I'm like, oh my God, like, am I going to be able to get all my stuff back? Like, am I going to have to get a new phone number and then like message everybody on Facebook and be like, I have a new phone, so message me so I have your number, blah, blah, blah. Like, am I going to have to be that person? So I'm like in full on panic mode. My dad is like driving me back to Burlington because I met him halfway in Burlington and then we went to Toronto from there. So it was about 4 o'clock. So I'm like, drive fast. Let's get to the mall so I can get to the phone store and I can get a new phone. And like the whole time we're driving, I'm like using his phone and I'm trying to call mine just to see. And that's the thing too. Like I don't keep the ringer on my phone. I always have my ringer off. So
Oh,
I'm just
that
continuously
Dave does
calling.
that and it drives me crazy when he loses his phone.
Yeah. So I'm continuously calling my phone, hoping that if it is just sitting on a shelf, hopefully it's on a shelf in a store. Like I just set it down and didn't notice, and it's just somewhere that it'll light up, right? Like because the screen lights up when you call. So I'm hoping that that is what is happening. So I'm continuously calling my phone. Nothing is happening. And I'm like, if people lose their phones and they're calling it, like, will people actually answer it? Like, that's the thing too. Like, will somebody answer it? So, like, you would hope somebody would, if they found a phone, that they would answer it thinking it's somebody trying to call their phone, right? But who knows? So, of course, like, worst case scenarios are going through my mind. Like, somebody has pickpocketed me, they have my phone, they've opened it, they're going through all the passwords, they're stealing my identity. Like I am going down the worst case scenarios here. My
It takes a
panic
minute,
is
and it takes a minute for them to do all of that.
my
would not
my
happen
panic
right
is
away.
at an 11. Like
Yeah.
it is at high here. So luckily, like we get through traffic. It only takes us an hour, which is beautiful. So we get back to the mall. I race to the phone store. I'm like, okay, I have a problem. I'm hoping you can help me. So I told him like I've lost my phone. I have no idea where it is. Is there any way like we can remotely erase the data, like kind of do a factory reset on it? And I need a new phone. Can I keep my new phone number? Is there any way that my stuff is backed up somewhere and we can still retrieve everything? He's like, we might be able to. So I'm like, okay. So first of all, I was able to keep my phone number. So that's good.
Yeah.
Second of all, because I pretty much have everything through Google, you can do the Google Find Your Phone because I have a Gmail account or whatever. So, but the only thing is the last time I must have like actually opened an app or used data or whatever was when we were having lunch. And I knew I still had my phone after lunch because I took some pictures when we were in Kensington Market. So that wasn't really helpful because I knew that I had my phone when we left lunch. So I was like, okay. And then, but there is a thing that you can remotely erase your phone.
Yeah.
But the only thing is, which I later found out, it like when you hit erase phone, it has to be like online. So I don't know if that means it has to be connected to data or Wi-Fi.
Oh, wow.
So by the time I had done all that, we had already transferred everything to a new phone. So the data wouldn't be on my old phone. So someone would have had to connect it to Wi-Fi if they did have it. Because it said once it's online again, it'll erase. So I'm like, okay, I guess that's kind of good. And it also doesn't tell you if it's online or if it's erased. Like it doesn't tell you any of that. You just have to click erase and hope for the best.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so I got the new phone, not an expense I was hoping to have that day, but I got the phone. I was able to keep the new phone number. I came home. I'm a total mess. Like I'm exhausted by this point, like mentally exhausted. I got Wendy's. I got like the biggest Diet Coke they had. I was going to get a bottle of wine, but I'm like, I just want to go home. I don't want to stop for wine. So I sat down at the computer. I'm like trying to change some passwords. I logged into Google. Luckily, like pretty much everything was backed up in Google.
Yeah.
So everything went back onto the phone, but Lucas has my old phone, which is also connected to my Gmail account. So I'm getting his stuff and my stuff. I have like his background screen on my phone, which is just nonsense. And I'm like, I cannot even get this background right now. Like this is chaotic. And like it was syncing my contacts into his phone and his contacts into my phone. And at one point, when I would delete them off of his phone, it was deleting them off of my phone. Finally, I got it fixed.
Oh my God, what a mess.
But luckily, like all of my contacts came back, all of my apps came back, even like the folders I had put all the apps in, the folders stayed the same, which was good. The only things, and I was really bummed because I thought all of my photos had been backing up into like Amazon Photos and Google, but it hadn't.
Yeah.
Like the last time I guess my phone or whatever did a backup into Amazon was February.
Oh no.
So I don't have any photos from February until now. Like none of my photos came back on my phone, which was kind of a bummer. And my notes thing didn't come back into my phone. So I don't know any passwords to anything.
Oh, that's an opportunity to start new passwords.
Well, that's what I'm also probably going to have to do today. I'm going to have to try and remember at least all the main things that I know, like my credit card and like social media stuff, like all the main things. I'm going to have to redo passwords.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh my God, like I did not sleep well last night because obviously I'm still full of anxiety.
Also, losing your photos for that long. I told you how I lost all my stuff from when I was changing jobs in December because I'd been in this job for 2.5 years. And so my computer, I didn't have my own computer. So my computer was connected to my phone, iPhone and an Apple computer.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, okay, before you hand over back the computer, you should like disconnect it from your phone. And I was in a class, so I was just not paying attention. So I'm disconnecting. Instead of disconnecting, I clicked erase.
Oh, no.
It's taking a long time to disconnect. And then I got back into my hotel room and I opened my phone and it's like, do you want to set up your phone from like start over? And I'm like, oh no. And then I opened my my iCloud account and it's like you last backed up in March 2020.
Oh no.
Because the iPhone, it backs up when you if you have to leave your phone charging overnight for it to back up. And I have this irrational fear that if I leave my phone charging overnight, it could overheat and then catch a fire. So I don't.
Oh my gosh,
charge
I
my
have that
phone
same
overnight.
fear.
Right, okay, so it's not irrational. So I never do that. Like I'll charge it until when it's time for me to sleep, and then I unplug. I didn't realize because of that. Like I didn't realize I've had this irrational fear for that long. Because then I like literally the entire pandemic, I didn't have any photos backed up, any contacts. I was like, because I wasn't also backing up the contacts, and this was like because of my job. Sometimes you want to talk to lawmakers. Yeah. And during the pandemic, because they were remote, they would call you from their cell phones. So you get the cell phone numbers of all the lawmakers. So you don't have to go through their comms.
Right. Oh, no.
Yeah, it was hard. I felt like I was grieving, but then I'm like, you know what? New slate, new job, new year, new start. But
yeah, it was just, I'm mostly bummed with the photos. Like, I wish I had. So for anybody listening, back up your phone now.
Yeah.
Because you think everything's going to be there. You think it's just doing it automatically in the background. It might not be.
Yep.
So yeah, like lesson learned. Yeah. But yeah, it just sucks. Like, luckily I have some stuff still because Google stopped backing up last August for me. So I don't have anything in my Google from then. At Amazon Photos, luckily I have some stuff like from Christmas and whatever. But yeah, Amazon Photos is also supposed to be backing up in the background, but for whatever reason, it stopped in February. So I don't have anything from February until now backed up. But at least I post to Instagram frequently. So
yeah, I was gonna say like I think that's the saving grace for me as well is like all of my pictures from Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
I only have what I had posted on my social media. And Mexico City, Dave had a cooler phone than me, so I kept grabbing his phone to use for photos. So he's got a lot of them in there. So that's.
I think part of me is still hoping that like I'll magically find it in one of the 2 shopping bags that I've already meticulously gone through.
Or like it slid between your, like sometimes the phone slips. Were you driving?
No, like that's like no, like I'm just hoping that it's like it got meshed up in one of the dresses that I bought and I just haven't noticed it yet.
I've had my phone get lost and I'm looking for it, and then it turns out it slipped between the passenger and driver seat in the car.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not there. But anyway, I have a new phone now. The majority of my stuff is still on it. I'm super paranoid that somebody has stolen my phone and is now stealing my identity.
You erased it. Trust me, if you erase it, it has nothing. They would have to like start from scratch and set it up, because it clears everything.
But the thing is, like all the apps and stuff, now that they've transferred over to the new phone, I know that you wouldn't be able to log into them on the old one, that all the login passwords are in the notes on the phone. So that's just
that will clear as well. It will clear the notes up. Yeah.
If the phone actually erased, like I don't even know if it's erased.
If I'm pretty sure if you clicked erase, it did it. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know. But anyway, we only have 7 minutes left.
It's possible your phone is sitting like in a dressing room of like a mall or something.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's like it's on a floor somewhere, or I dropped it in a bush and it's just it's just not being seen. I feel like because of how I was holding my purse, I feel like I would have noticed if somebody was putting their hand in my purse and taking the phone out.
You're fine. Do you have your identity, your credit monitor locked, and what's it called? Like there's I don't know if you guys use the 3 credit rating agencies. You probably do as well. You can just simply go in there and tell them to lock your credit. That way, if somebody accesses your information, the most damaging thing is that they can try to take a credit line in your name. And so it's free to just go and lock your credit. And that way, even if somebody steals your identity, they can't do much without it pinging you and being like, hey, if somebody tried to buy a car with your, do you have social security numbers?
We have social insurance numbers. It's
So we had like a data breach that affected the healthcare system we are on, and so everybody's like, you gotta lock your thing. So we had to go and lock our thing. It was like it really takes like 2 minutes, but like there's some sense of security. Like if anybody gets my information and tries to steal my identity, I'll get like a notification like, hey, did you try to do this? Did you try to buy something?
Yeah. So I also hope that if I dropped it on the ground, a car just ran over it and destroyed it, so nothing can be taken from it. So
you're gonna be fine. If you erased it, that phone is as good as useless. Maybe they would start from scratch. They would just get a new phone if they're even able to log in. But that's really it.
I hope so. I don't know. It's a bummer, but so that was my Father's Day. It started out really great. We were having a great time. I got some fun dresses. My sister and I went half on like a really nice poster for my dad. And then I lost my phone and everything went downhill. So yeah, between my eye infection a few weeks ago and now this, my life is just amazing.
Theo just walked in, so he's gonna be making noise.
That's okay. We're done now.
Yeah. So oops.
So you're on mute, but I'm just going to end it then and say, if the kids are driving you nuts, just threaten them with "Don't make me use my mom voice." So bye.
Bye.
You can follow Don't Make Me Use My Mom Voice on Facebook and Instagram at Don't Make Me Use My Mom Voice, or you can write to us at momvoicepod@gmail.com. We hope you enjoyed the episode. See you next time.